Alright, hello and welcome to a shitty little guide on how to kill Ancestral Dragon Part 1 of 2 in EC Hell mode. So to start with, you'll need a soak group that is on the opposite side of the entrance, just to the right of the platform, and this will be your Vanguard main tank and 2 to 3 DPS. Normally you want your melee DPS in here, as long as you have them. To the left of that, on the little opposite side of the platform nearby, you'll have your Spirit Shaper, healing your full party, or 3 or 4 people that are in your soak group. And this can be solo healed, although you can have both your healers here. It doesn't really matter. It just depends on how good your healers are. Okay, and to start with, for this little thing down here, this will be your occultist, this will be your gun, or well, not your gun, this will be the person on the turret, and this will be the ammo box. So to start off the fight, you want someone to grab the ammo box, take it to the turret, and then you want your occultist to swap the turret on. Well, actually, the occultist needs to activate the rune first, and then swap the turret onto the platform, and that will give them immunity for some of the for the jump mechanics that you will need. Okay, let's actually get into the boss now. Alright, here we go. Oh, make sure that your Vanguard, or at least one of your people in your soak group, are the first people to hit the boss, as it will fixate them and it will attack them for almost the entire time. I think you can pull off, but it's not very easy to reset the aggro. So if you have a DPS, pull it from the other side, don't do it. Okay, so here you have the turret. Someone is already loading it in, they're out of range. Here we have the occultist setting up the rune. The rune is activated. Okay, this is a bug. Sometimes when you pull it, the boss will just like face the direction he always faces, and he will do it. But it is only on us. As you can see, we're the only ones with the debuffs. It's just a little bug. There the occultist swapped with the turret, and so now the turret is immune to damage for this jump phase, which would otherwise kill it. And the turret needs to be DPSing the rune, not the dragon in the air. There's 2 hitboxes, you need to target the rune. Alright, this mechanic right here is the breath again. It's just a big AoE which reduces your healing by half. So you definitely want your healer that's healing you to be outside of it. Here comes another breath. Now, very important for this next, yep, see, here we go. For this next ground phase where he does the jumps, the occultist will need to CT this. They can either CT this, the gunner, or the turret, or they can activate this rune and swap it. They should CT it, so that way the people carrying ammo to the gunslinger, or to the turret, do not have to walk very far. I guess I never explained it, but you'll have 2 people that go from the ammo box to the turret, wherever the turret goes. So let's just say we did with the 1 swap, so that they will need to walk from the ammo box. Well, they need to pick up the ammo, walk to the turret. They need to target the person on the turret and use the ammo box on them. The people on that turret will have a little buff where it's a red circle and has an amount of stats in it. It only sets to 20, and I believe every ammo box gives 10. But they will need the ammo to DPS the thing, and so whenever they have free time, they should be walking to there. Obviously, try to reload the ammo after the jumping phase, so that way you don't have to drop your box and then jump, or you don't die with the box because you couldn't jump. So yes. So he's on the ground. Here's CT. You need to time that pretty well. If you time it too late, then they might take 1 tick. Or if you time it too early, they might take 1 tick. Just continue DPS the treasure rune. Here's another breath. Here's someone carrying a box of ammo. Here's someone preemptively taking a box to the other rune. Here the occultist is activating the next rune and swapped it. They're immune with this little circle around them for about 20 to 30 seconds, I believe. So it's pretty easy, or it's pretty decent to time. Every breath for your soak group, you want to be popping defensives. Here's another jump. It's just 4 single jumps and then a double jump, or depending on your ping, sometimes double jumping like double jump, double jump, double jump works. It just depends on you. You'll likely have a lot of deaths to it, but you'll like it's just something that you get used to. I've done a bunch of different styles of doing it, just because it becomes very easy once you've got the actual timing down. You'll have a lot of deaths for a bit, but then you'll get down, you'll never die to it. Here's activate another rune. We likely won't need it because it's only 2%, but it's better to be safe than sorry. It's immune. Okay, this is the beginning of the second phase when he dives down over your soak group. Okay, so for the beginning of the second phase, there's some very important things that need to happen. First most, the flower. Well, the Vanguard main tank swaps from right here. They go onto the actual platform, and the flower needs to be placed directly in front of them. It is used to soak a shadow orb, which is one of the mechanics for this boss, or that the boss does, and it is very important to do that because if you're not extremely tanky, then you will instantly, or the Vanguard main tank will instantly die to the shadow orb, and the healer that heals the main tank will be directly behind him, and not off to the sides, because if they're off to the sides too much, then the boss will do side swipes, which will do massive AoEs on both sides of the boss, starting from the side that they're not on. But it's best to just avoid it in general. There are some things that you need to dodge out of for, and I'll explain those when we get to them. The most important thing is all the melee and range stack up, and one healer, and then the Vanguard and the Spirit Shaper are in a line on this top platform, opposite. So all the melee and range are on the tail, and then the healer and Vanguard main tank are on the head of the boss at the top. Here we go. That was the shadow mechanic. It was soaked by the flower. This next mechanic is rock. Rock is it spawns a big AoE underneath 3 random people in the party, and you should dodge out of it. Some melee can survive it. Vanguard main tank does not need to dodge it. Spirit Shaper does though. Spirit Shaper, that's just a quick dodge out and quick dodge back in. Especially as a melee too, if you dodge to the center, you need to dodge back as the rock is falling, or else you risk doing the side swipes, which might kill a person or two. So it's very important to get this timing down. You dodge out of it, and then as it falls, dodge back. After rock, okay, so the rotation normally goes shadow orb, and then it goes rock, which is the big AoE, and then it goes mana cannon. For mana cannon, your Vanguard main tank and your healer back there, they need to dodge, or they don't need to dodge to the left. They need to take like 3 to 4 steps to the left, just to like they go from like the center of the platform to the edge of the platform. That's all that they need to do, and it dodges the mana cannon, which will do a massive damage. It will definitely kill your healer, almost kill your tank. Well, it normally does 2 ticks. If you take 1 tick as a Vanguard main tank, you can probably survive, but you cannot survive 2 ticks unless you're extremely tanky, which our Vanguard main tank is extremely tanky, and he doesn't live through it. Okay. So after that, he will do tail swipe. This is tail swipe. It just does a bunch of damage. It's normally livable as long as you're topped off. Okay, so under 80%, you want to make sure that you know, as a Vanguard main tank, or as a Vanguard DPS or a assassin, I don't know how you live through it as an assassin, but you don't want to pop your things that make you less tanky but increase your damage. Don't pop those, because he will do a charge. Well, don't pop them unless you are planning to double dodge out of this. So this mechanic is charge. Charge is under 80%. Sometimes he does it exactly at 80%, but most of the time he'll sync it up in his rotation, and his rotation normally has 4 or 5 abilities queued up. So normally he does it after like 5 abilities. He'll do charge. Charge, he flips up and like does a semicircle in the air, and then he comes from the back and charges in front of you. You need to react to this almost instantaneously. It needs to be called. Vanguard's, Vanguard DPS pops shield storm. Make sure you save that, or you will likely not survive. SM's ice, gunslinger, mech, occultist you have to dodge, and then blade masters you can adrenaline through it. And spirit shapers, spirit fox. Here it comes from behind, does damage. As you can see, our occultist did not quite make out the 2 dodges. If you don't have a cooldown, you have to dodge twice. Normally we dodge to the right, some people dodge to the left though, but you have to dodge 2 times and then some, and then come back after the charge is over to avoid dying to the side swipes. Here's another shadow orb. There was mana cannon. Here comes rock. All this is just burning down to about 55%. When you get to 55%, you want to stop most of your DPS. Here's mana cannon. See, now it's 55%. We're sitting on all of our cooldowns. We're waiting for it to do a mana cannon. When it does mana cannon, it gives you an extra like 2 to 3 seconds of DPS. And so we're waiting, building up special skill power. Here comes rock. Dodge out of it, dodge back. Okay, here comes mana cannon in a second. Here it comes. When you hit 50%, he will start the next little mini phase that he does, and you will want all of your range of melee. So once you push 50% during mana cannon, you want all of your range of melee to go out. Well, first part is do not go inside the center. Do not go don't stand on the circle at all. You want to be outside of it, just outside of it, or preferably if you're ranged like a couple meters outside of it. So you have your kiter. For this case, it's me because I'm second in the aggro. Whoever is your second in aggro is who should kite. However, occultist is probably the best actual kiter. But basically, you need someone with about 320 movement speed, and they won't need to dodge at all. Okay, so all your range of melee move out, and your kiter moves out as well. They move to this side, so that way, just in case it swaps to someone that's not the kiter, it doesn't go around this side and jump. So you all come out here and you start DPSing. You burn all of your cooldowns that you can. Just try and burn as much of the boss that you can. Your kiter then moves up here and waits about right there. Your spirit shaper will go and join the rest of your range and melee, and your Vanguard main tank will not move. They will die to a roots and the thing that your kiter kites. Okay, so this is your starting position. As you can see, all the melee and range are dashing out. I'm the kiter, so I'm a little bit further over here. I get my cooldowns out, and then I come right here. I come to the one just outside of the fire. As it starts rolling, it got a little bit too close to me, so I rolled it. This is about the distance that you want in between you right now. And everyone in the raid just needs to kite it counterclockwise around in a circle. The most important thing is your kiter cannot dash too much, or they will, as you can see, I'm ahead of it too much, and so I slow up a little bit. The kiter cannot be too far ahead, or it will snap to them a bit quicker than normal, and so it'll make it harder to do it. And the most important thing about this is try to get the boss to 30% during that phase. So you need to be DPSing on the move at least a bit. Oh, I forgot to mention, gunslingers have to save Comet Strike for 50%. Like, you need the Comet Strike to help push the boss to 30%. As you can see, we easily pushed it. So, and then this is going into the third phase. I'll make the video on this shortly. So basically, it's just one full circle, the Kaida that runs around, and in front of them, just all the melee in range. Oops. All the melee in range are just like they start down here, and then they just like slowly do a full circle and kite it. Your Spirit Shaper will need to res the Vanguard main tank during this phase, or the Vanguard main tank will need to take a Soul Stone to get back up for the third phase. But as you know, as you can see, it's just about surviving it. As he comes out of this, oh, by the way, if you're not 30%, if you're like 33% or something like that, make your entire party stack up on one side of, just inside the middle, but on one side of the boss. He will do the side swipe on the other side first, and then have your range or your whole group dash onto the other side of him, and you won't have anyone die to the actual side swipes. But you should be able to get 30% without needing to do that. Like, you know, preferably my group wouldn't have me kiting, but I was just the first person to kite, and I got used to it, and we had the DPS to do this. But you really need the DPS to push 30% without needing to sacrifice people. So, and then just 30%, you want to get towards the middle. If he's above 30%, you want to get towards the middle. He'll do like a circle thing where he will go around this outer circle, and he will just do like a bunch of damage to them if they're out there, which is why you go to the center. But if you already push 30%, then you're good. He will just go up into there and slam down and send you into the third phase. You do not really want your squishy DPS to be near the center, because the main tank, or the boss down here, will target the people nearest to the center. Oh, and make sure you jump before you hit the bottom. But he will target the people closest to the center, and so if your squishy DPS are close to the center, then there's a chance that they will get targeted, and they sometimes will just die as they land, because this boss is already on them. Alright, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.